the gentleman among the sports cars. Its sole consists of 8 British cylinders, built by hand, and dismantled in a day. We want to improve the car's performance once more. The Aston Martin Vantage certainly is a challenge, even for professional tuners. We hope that we can somehow put all the screws back in the right places. This Aston is supposed to be improved. More performance, more interior and more driving experience. A big job for owner Ralph Eibach. He can do everything himself as far as driving gear and curve characteristics are concerned, but he needs support to achieve a stylish interior and the right sound. We have strict instructions not to get too heavy with the components, that we cannot exhaust what little space we have available, that it still needs some boot space, and this will be one of the greater challenges. But we don't want to lose sportiness. Ralph Eibach imagines his Aston about 2.5 centimeters lower and with more direct handling, unique in optics and performance. So that the car sticks to the road much better. And this means that the driving gear needs to function sensibly, otherwise the forces won't transfer. Screaming engines outside and multimedia inside. The 5.1 system with DVD changer, navigation system and 8-inch screen requires one thing: space. The screen is positioned about here. Everything is taken out, even in the boot, in order to install 3 of this 4-channel amplifiers in the boot space. I'm looking forward to this. Work for specialists who are not afraid of big names. Mike and Christoph are supposed to give the Aston a new interior without destroying its British charm. Friends of British sports cars better not watch the following scenes. Within a few hours, Mike has completely dismantled the €100,000 bolide. It doesn't matter whether it's Alcantara or hand-sewn, everything must go for the new look. This comes from the top. There are only 2 clips in the entire car. If you compare it to a Golf, the Golf consists only of clips. This means it's very easy to take apart. The Aston Martin should remain a British car with style, with handmade apertures and converted center console. Mike would have liked to have left out all the buttons, but the air conditioning unit prevents the garage owner from doing that. Ralph Eibach in Sauerland, Germany, doesn't know anything about this. He deals with springs and stabilizers for the Aston Martin. The car is supposed to be on the stand at the motor show in Essen, Germany in 5 weeks. When asked what he feels about the challenge at hand, he says, "Of course, what kind of a question is that? I can hardly wait." Low gear springs and stabilizers specially made for the Aston, which can be adjusted automatically by the driver, provide more sportiness. At the moment, the concept looks as if we will have a pipe stabilizer which can be adjusted at its end. This means at the ends, blades are integrated which can be turned from inside the car. The Vantage is supposed to go to England in 4 days to receive its engine tuning and a body kit. That's why it's all hands on deck at X-Tone in Dortmund, Germany. You need to give it a bit more here, because if they really want to race around the Nürburgring with this thing afterwards at 9G, then I can't just screw things on. I really have to do it like this, and the car has to move with it. I think that the bonnet will come off before any of our stuff moves. Even for the button invasion, Mike has found a solution. You just can't smoke in this Aston Martin. Here there used to be an ashtray. I mean, nobody needs one anyway, because smoking with all this Alcantara in this car, that's really not a good thing. So when you open it here, and there is the little rotating wheel. The elementary functions that we really had to keep, like interior lighting, switch on, blah, 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 we've put it in here. Together with Thomas Koenig, the system is started up for the first time, an important step for the multimedia designers.
Hey.
As far as the potential is concerned, what you can hear here, the first sounds, it sounds really quite good, doesn't it? But the exclusive sound is missing. The 5.1 system is not quite tuned yet. There really are cars that are quite good at the end. You switch them on for the first time and it's like a smack in the face. Quite normal. That's why we have all these processors. Before the Aston Martin can go to England, Mike will have to put in a few night shifts. The car is supposed to sound fantastic in 4 weeks in Essen, but engine tuning and body kit are still missing. For Mike, this is just horrific because he hasn't had that little time in a long while. The X-Tone specialist hasn't left his garage for the past few days. After walking around for 42 hours, you feel as if you've been run over by a bus. Every little bit of you aches, and then it'll take you about 3 days before you're back to normal. Where once there were operating elements and buttons, there is now the screen. The parts are framed by polished stainless steel. Even the boot has a new sheen. The 3 digital end stages are illuminated by 40 LEDs each. Before this was only a black hole. Mike has cleaned out and rebuilt the Aston within 2 weeks. Owner Ralph hardly recognizes his car. Well, you could really think that the car could come straight from the Aston Martin factory. It's perfect. I couldn't have done it any better. I mean, well, I am more the driving gear specialist. The V8 starts its long journey towards engine tuning, to the holy grail of motorsports, to ProDrive. The specialists from England are amongst the top addresses where Formula One, rally cars and Aston Martin are concerned. Here, harmless sports cars are converted into hell-on racing wheels. Engineer Peter Cambridge is proud of his new 20-inch rims.
We've designed a new wheel based off the race car program which we run. So we have a twin 14-spoke style wheel. We're having them made in Japan. They're forged wheel.
A military airfield near Warwick, England, is used as the test centre, and because Ralph has never driven an Aston Martin before, he can now try out his Vantage for the first time. Aha, the entire thing has gone to the side. Ralph opens it up on the cordoned-off track. It was fantastic. It really is. You really have to say this. The car is an experience, and especially because there are still changes that you can make. The car is in England for important changes. The Aston is supposed to change from cruising into racing mode at the touch of a button. A hard nut to crack for the mechanics. They've been running tests for days with various driving gear settings.
This will give you a much more sporty drive, a lot more body control. This is very much a production compromise, and this has been tailored specifically to the style of driving that we think the owners would appreciate more. This is the one we want, so this is the one we're going to put on the car.
Until the right setting, it needs at least a further 4 fine adjustments. Paul Veal is responsible for the engine. He has developed special software for this car, which delivers more than just performance.
It's been specifically calibrated to be more sports feel. In this car, where the throttle is driven by electronics rather than the driver's foot, we can actually change the way that the car responds to the driver and the feedback it gives him.
Well, we have 99...
380 horsepower is delivered by the V8 so far. For the certain extra something, the mechanics exchange the catalyzer with a definitely cuter version. The new Cat just about meets the lax English regulations, but this power unit now delivers over 430 horsepower after the necessary engine adjustments. Performance that you can hear, because even the sound can be controlled.
Depending which position this valve is actually in, and that's again is controlled by the engine controller. And Aston Martin have spent a lot of time developing, so it sounds very nice. Sounds like a V8, proper good noise.
The moment of truth. Ralph is the first one allowed to come near because adjustment of the driving gear is his part of the business. The master of stabilizers and springs feels the difference. The driving behavior has improved noticeably.
Whoa!
Leute.
So, in the sports mode, you really get the feeling that the entire car is tensed up in a positive way, just like an athlete with muscles of steel. And that is how we actually describe our driving gear. The Aston is supposed to be ready in a week. Then the €150,000 car is supposed to be the centerpiece of Ralph's stand at the motor show. It's been a long way from the first idea to the finished object. In a certain way, it fills me with lots of pride, because to achieve something like this, on this basis, on such a platform, is just the tip of the iceberg for Eibach.
Bis heute die Spitze des Eisbergs.
Ralph has to say goodbye again to his Vantage Special, but with the interior design and the English racing kit, he has come much closer to his goal of improving the dream car. 12 hours until the opening in Essen. The Aston arrives at the stand just in time before delivery stop. Mike was waiting for this. He has to set the system up, but during the first test, the DVD player has no image. The garage foreman gets a bad surprise in the boot. We have torn ourselves apart to get everything ready, and we were ready, yes, and then the English got a hold of it, and now we're not ready. Thomas Koenig actually only wanted to test listen with Mike, but he is fighting with a broken fiber optics cable. In order to repair this, the two of them have to take the entire car completely apart again. They probably had to take everything out again and somehow damage the fiber optics cable. There is nothing they can do. The Dolby surround sound system is not going to work. Thomas wants to at least start the car up at the motor show, but now everything is dead. It can't be the fuses, and Thomas is slowly losing his patience. Something is opening up now. Flap is shut, key is out. I can't get an image on the screen. The motor show opens in 6 hours, and the savior in shape of Bernhard is coming. The technician for measuring technology even brings Thomas a new mains adapter for the empty battery. Finally, Bernhard can start his job, and this only consists of listening. It can drive you around the bend when you've been setting it up for hours, but you get there in the end. But sometimes it does take time. But time is running out. In order to achieve the required settings, improvisation is needed. It should be enough for the car on the stand. Because of this, the guys probably have some tricks up their sleeves and will just save the settings, then save some more different settings, and then directly compare all of them. Ralph is not aware of the problems during the night. No one has seen the car this close up. The tension is mounting. After 9 months of planning and 6 weeks of conversion, Ralph has finally reached his goal. This is how he had imagined his Aston Martin. Yeah, I'm a bit lost for words. Even the DVD player is running as if nothing had happened. This Aston Martin is worth around €150,000. For Ralph, the perfect English car. Aston Martin, the word alone, the name means something so significant, and you can just feel it by sitting in the car. The crew has achieved their goal. Working over many days, they have turned this Aston Martin into a dream car.